You've tried hundreds of diets to lose fat and nothing seems to be working. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. What if there's diets out there that have been proven over hundreds of years to help you lose fat, but you just don't know about it? I'm gonna go through one of the best diets possible for you to lose fat that you've never heard of before in this video. Now let's break down what every single diet pretty much does. Yes, they create a deficit, but I'm gonna break down the thought process behind each one. Keto does this by removing all carbs and joy in your life. Low carb does this, it's just slightly less aggressive than keto. Intermittent fasting creates a deficit just by cutting your eating hours so you naturally eat less. So it pretty much doesn't delete a food group, but it deletes the hours. Paleo deletes everything before 1850. Carnivore deletes pretty much absolutely everything. It's not really a diet, it's more like a hostage situation, I would say. You can never eat out, it's not enjoyable. And trust me, I love steak, but eating it every single day, you will eventually crave something different. You need a little bit of variety. Also, most people that eat carnivore now, you'll notice they have to add in fruit and other foods now because their cholesterol or their saturated fats got so high that they're feeling it. Then you'll see the likes of Slimming Worlds or point scoring systems where they track calories, but they just pretend they don't by using points. And then we've got juice cleanses and all the mad rogue stuff where essentially you're just starving yourself on 300 calories, but they give it some fancy name, tell you you're detoxing or some specific health benefit and why you'd want to do this over just dieting normally. But the thing is, all these actually work to lose fat because they create a deficit. It's one major mechanism and that's all that's needed for you to lose fat. There's no magic diet, there's no magic window, no fat burning tool or fast that you can use that's going to help you get there faster. Because if you ate any of these diets, the thing is, if the calories were equal, you would lose the same fat on any of them. The reason you're watching this video is because you've already tried majority of these or you've been tracking and it's just not working for you. Maybe you've even stuck to a diet, but you've just hated it the entire time. It didn't complement your life, it complicated it. And then whenever you stop that diet you hate or one of these strategies, the weight just comes back on, and then the next time you go to diet, it's even harder and you have to go more extreme. That is not what we want. So let's dive in on the diet approach that you don't have to track your calories, they still lose the fat, and they don't hate their life. See, there is a group of people who don't track, don't weigh their food, they don't log anything, and they actually have no idea what they're eating. And the funny thing is, they're carrying less visceral fat than you, they're probably leaner than you, and they stay lean for decades throughout their entire life effortlessly. The thing is, they're not more disciplined than you, it's their behavior. They were just raised and eat differently. When researchers rank diets, not for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, but for years, for fat loss, for health, and actually keeping the fat off, 2 main diets always come out on top: the Mediterranean diet and the Nordic diet. Let me break these down. Now, I'm not gonna sit and tell you to move to Greece or the Mediterranean, that's not what it's about. What I'm gonna show you and break down is exactly what these 2 diets do and how you can use this to help you. And then the best part is, I'm gonna add a few levers on top, a few little tips that are going to bring it from good to great. Imagine aesthetics mixing with this. You're going to get not only the health benefits and find it easy, but you're also going to look really good. So let's dive into what these diets do well. Number 1, low energy density. Pretty much this just means how many calories are packed into any gram of food. Just remember that yes, calories matter, but your body drives hunger also based off the weight of the food and how big the portion is. For example, eating 500 calories of peanut butter versus 500 calories of salad as an extreme example. And then as you eat more volume, as you'll know, you'll see it all over Instagram, you will notice that this is what triggers you to not become hungry. If you ever have a large meal, but it's low in calories, it still fills you the same. Because 2 meals of the exact same calories can leave you in entirely different places, struggling to stick to your diet or feel extremely full and don't want to eat anymore. Now, what is the Mediterranean diet actually built of? Vegetables, fruits, fish, a little bit of olive oil, some beans, lentils, but mainly fruit, healthy carbs, vegetables, and lean meats. See, it doesn't just magically put you in a deficit if you eat this, like some other diets will claim. You just happen to go into deficit because you end up eating so much food volume that you don't consume more calories than you need. You fill up before you run out of calories. Number 2, they all include an insane amount of fiber. See, because when a food group is full of fiber, it digests slower and it actually signals leptin, which is the opposite hunger hormone. It's the one that makes you feel full for long. And then when that signals, it tells your body you don't need more food. This is why sometimes even if you have a high volume meal, you're still hungry and you can continue eating because the food easily digests, it moves through you super fast. Whereas when a food is high in fiber, that's what's going to help you stay full for longer. So it's not just about calories and volume, fiber matters too. Take the likes of raspberries, they're usually small in volume, but they keep you full for a long time. The reason this happens is because fiber actually holds room in your stomach. It does this because it holds water and therefore it stretches sort of your stomach. So you imagine that tells your stomach it's full. That signals your body, we don't need more food. Simple as that. And see, when you have a high fiber food, it digests slower, you get way less blood sugar spikes, so your energy stays more consistent, meaning it's easier to actually get that motivation, that feel good to go and exercise, to take a walk. You don't feel sluggish, you're not getting these dips in energy. And people will say, oh, well, I take a fiber supplement. It doesn't do the same. Real unprocessed fiber will always work far better. Remember, you can't supplement your way to a good diet. You have to eat the food. Now, this might seem really, really simple, but I want to highlight what I'm going to add to this to make it way better for you. So you not only actually keep the body fat off, but also build muscle and look good and make it a bit more enjoyable. So this is what I'd add. Let's dive into point by point. First thing I'd add is protein. By adding more protein into this diet, you would notice that not only you keep more muscle, you recover better, but you stay fuller for longer. Protein is the macronutrient that's going to keep you fullest for longest. Also, I think by adding in protein, you can get salmon, beef, eggs, and this sounds odd, but when you have a higher fat diet, although it sounds weird, you'll notice that your hormones sit in a better place, which will allow you to have a better look. Your muscles will retain, your libido, your sex drive, they're the same thing, but I like to say them twice. And your testosterone, your estrogen, your growth hormone, these all sit in a better place, which is just gonna make you look better and keep the fat off long term. See, because if you just ate the Mediterranean diet and didn't keep your protein out, you could lose weight, but you could also lose muscle if your protein's not kept in the right check. You want about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Otherwise, you just end up losing weight, but also muscle, and that's not the look you want. The next thing I would add to this is the fact that you want between 3 and 5 meals a day. The reason for this is it allows you to stimulate muscle protein synthesis multiple times throughout the day. And on top of that, it's gonna help keep hunger at bay. There's nothing magical about these bodybuilders eating 6 meals plus a day. You don't need that. All you need to focus on is hitting your protein and what works for you. For me, I like between 3 and 4 meals. I'll also recommend shortening your eating window, because when you do this, you will naturally eat less and find it easier to stick to your diet. Now, this might seem like a bit of a weird one, but if you're gonna eat like this, what I would highly recommend is having easy, no-cook meals. Sounds really simple, but stuff like chicken sandwiches, protein oats, even just simple fruit, bagels, and just some easy meat that you can consume, or eggs. Sounds really basic, but having these meals pre-made, where there's low cook, low prep involved, already made throughout the week, is going to be super important for you with sticking to this sort of diet, especially if you're not used to it. It's going to ensure you get your protein, you don't go off plan, because whenever you're stressed, you're worried, it's going to be so easy, or even if your time's crunched, to just push your diet off. But if you have these prepped in advance, it's going to make things so much easier for you. But I think if you've done this, if you hit your protein, you scheduled your meals, you've done these simple tips I gave, along with the main variables of a Mediterranean diet, it is the best diet to follow. So let me put this all together for you in pure simplicity. Your plate would be made up of a fistful of vegetables, a fistful of protein, a fistful of carbs. And I would really recommend somewhere in there, if not on your protein, but have some fats, whether it be nuts, olive oil, or you have, your protein as a salmon, a red meat source, or some eggs, where you're getting that fat balance as well. This is going to create the highest satiety meals for you. And on top of that, they're also going to help you hit your macros and micros and make it easy for you to stick to, while giving you the energy to build muscle, look good, but also feel great. And I guarantee you, if you've done this, if you had these meals 2 to 3 times a day, you wouldn't even need to track your calories, and you would naturally underconsume it compared to what you normally do. And that's why it's the best diet. That's why these people tend to live longer, stay leaner, and have I wouldn't say happier, I would say just healthier lives. But just remember, whatever you stick to diet-wise is the best, because that's going to be so important when you staying consistent long term, and not just running off sugar and whipping the weight off and then it rebounding back on, or spending your life just tracking calories all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that with clients myself at time periods, but you also have to build the diet around what you want for your life. So just remember, eat less processed food, more whole food, and you will naturally become leaner. It's not rocket science, but over time you will find this diet the easiest one to stick to and stay lean to long term, or some variation like I gave you often. Look, big love. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next one. Whoa.